Welcome back. Today we're looking at another free offering from Uline. This one comes in at $18 normally, but you can get it on request with orders over $300, which of course, as I mentioned in my other videos, which I have free Uline gifts in, I just happened to get to the point on an order at the job I work for where it's over that point and we all take turns. This was my turn. And a coworker said, hey, I got one of these kits, you should get one too, they're pretty cool. And you might like it for a YouTube video. So of course I said, hey, why not? That's a good idea. So what this comes with is the wall adapter, the car adapter, the battery bank obviously, a charging lead, and a lightning adapter. So you could use this for Android or Apple devices. And for $18, I guess it's not too bad. So we'll take a look at this. Now I did a really quick look at it the other day just to see what it looked like. In fact, I actually looked at my friend's and I thought it was pretty neat. But it's pretty thin. For comparison, I have one of these LED remotes, and yeah, it's just as thick actually, so that's pretty nice. We can see it's got a USB port on it, and you can't smell that, but wow, it's got that that's got that real plasticky kind of cheapy smell to it. I know you know what I'm talking about. You smell it all the time when you get some of these devices, but we can see here hopefully some of the specs. It's rated at 2200 milliamp hours. It has an input of 800 milliamps at 5 volts. It outputs 1 amp at 5 volts. Now I say that because I know that my charger for my tablet puts out 2.1 amps I think, and my charger for my camera here does 1.8. So I don't see this immediately charging anything that I have handy other than my cell phone, but I'm sure, you know, it's going to provide a trickle charge to some devices more than it would charge like a full powered charge like my big battery pack over here that I did in other videos, you know, would obviously, but heck, you could put this in your pocket, so I guess that's the trade-off. Plus having a full-size USB is pretty cool right there in that little thin package. Other side we have a micro USB port, and that's pretty much it. Now I did notice there's a little dot over here, and you do see a little bit of an LED glow through there when you have something plugged in, and I'll show you that in a moment. I can actually plug the charge doctor in and show it does have a charge on it. I didn't actually plug this in or anything to see how high it goes up to, but it definitely does have that charge. You can see there's no amperage on the scale here because it's not plugged into anything, and hopefully the camera can pick it up. I might have to kill some lights here, but there is the faintest, oh, there it is. Yeah, there's the faintest little bit of blue, and if you plug this in to charge, it actually turns red. And I actually did the funny thing, I did a paradox where I plugged the power here into the input here, and of course it turned red, said it was charging, but this said it was putting out 0. So of course I don't really think that did anything, but it kind of looked funny at the time when I was playing with it. But anyway, we'll take a look at the other components here while I have this going. This is a dual port plug, which I thought was pretty cool. Now it says it puts out 2.1 amps on top and 1.0 on the bottom. I'll have to put that to the test and see. I mean, it does have the 2 outputs listed, but I might try to split these open and see. They seem like they're pretty well glued together. I kind of didn't want to ruin the set, but you know, what's a little destruction for a good YouTube video? So I might end up taking them apart. We will see. The regular plug-in jammy over here also has 2 plugs on it, which is nice. And any specs on here, of course, it's going to be really tiny. But you can go ahead and see that. I'll have to tip it towards me a little bit. Forgive me here. But yeah, it's 0.4 amps max input and 2100 milliamps output. Now it doesn't say per terminal, so I'm assuming that's only one. So if I'm going to charge my tablet on here, I'm going to have to see how that works. And incidentally, while I have this in frame, I use this a lot in videos, and this is really the only one I have, but I watched in a lot of other YouTubers' videos like Big Clive or Jillian Illitz. They all have different charge doctors, and I want to get a different one that's a little nicer than this, but it seems that whenever I plug certain devices into this particular charger here, I don't get the full power out of it. Like this never really gives me, like I'll never see 2.1 on here when my tablet's completely drained. But it seems like if I leave it on here, it takes a very long time for it to charge. Whereas if I plug it directly in without it, it doesn't take as long. But then of course I don't know how much power the thing's putting out because I don't have a way to meter it. Which makes me believe there's something going on with the data pins. They're supposed to be connected straight through, and looking at the back here, I think it is, but I haven't actually broken this apart and put my meter to it to see. But that's something I'll have to do in a future video. But we could use it for just rudimentary tests for right now and see what kind of power these things are putting out. I do actually have a way of plugging this in the house. Unfortunately, that device isn't here in the house, it's out in my shed. So we'll have to possibly do another video on this later on. If I can get them apart, that might be video for that, and we'll save that for obviously then, and keep this as more like a quick review video now, because I think that's the better way to do it. Anyway, I took this out before and looked at it. Not very long lead. I mean, I guess it's all right. It's it feels like 4 foot, maybe less than that. The little lightning connector's pretty nice. Of course, this is one of those 50-50 things. You either get it on the first time or not. But once you have the lightning connector, it doesn't matter which way you plug it in. Now, sadly or fortunately, depending on what your stance in life is, I don't have any Apple devices to test this out in, but I do have other ones, obviously. Well, it survives a drop test. That's a good thing. Of course, that's from a height of from the desk here to the floor, so we can get that one out of the way. I really want to take this thing apart, so hopefully there will be a second video on the innards of this, but I imagine it's just a flat battery with some kind of, you know, circuit board at the top here. It's probably just as wide as the USB connector. All right, let me go grab a phone to plug in and see how this thing's going to charge. All right, I got my old ass phone here, and yeah, it's charging. But of course, never a good test when your phone is already charged, see how it works, but you know, I'm sure it's putting some power out. This plug is kind of wonky on this. It's not a very deep plug, so sometimes it never really feels like it's the most secure, I notice. Look, it's trying to get online. Yeah, fat chance of that working. This phone is so antiquated, but you know what? That's fine. And you'll see that, hopefully that blue light is still glowing. Yep, there it is. Yeah. So I guess it's a basic battery pack, nothing really special about it, but it is a free gift if you do make purchases through Uline and you're getting your order up to 300 bucks. Why not, right? So I'm actually just going to, really quick, I'm going to pan the camera up here. We're going to plug this guy in and see what the power coming out of it is. All right, well, here's the annoying thing. It's going to face the other way, so you won't see it on the camera. But it's putting out 4.94 volts open circuit, which is pretty decent, I guess. We can plug in my phone here again if we want to see, or better yet, let's actually plug in the charger and see what kind of draw that's taking off that charger, the actual output there. Forgive the off camera stuff here. And it dropped down to 4.83, and it's drawing 0.76 amps. So yeah. 760 milliamps. Well, that's pretty good, I guess. We'll see. Now you can definitely see that red light. It's much brighter than the blue one. And they're probably not centered behind that hole there. If I get to do a teardown video, we'll see what that looks like inside. Yeah, you know what? It's not if I do a teardown. We will do a teardown of this, because if I remember correctly, my coworker says, you know, he likes his little kit, but he doesn't really think he'll get much use out of it, and he might end up giving it to me anyway, so we might just sacrifice this. Alright, anyway guys, that's honestly all I really have to add to this particular video for now. So I guess join me for part 2. Once I actually get this thing apart, we'll look at the innards and see what makes her work, and see if there's any devious tricks inside here, or any kind of bodge jobs or anything like that, and hopefully all these devices here. And with that, thanks for watching. See you next video.